Today I had a dream, and I wanted of the dream and talk about the energetic significance of it. Because of course, I sat down with it and I sat down with spirit and I did some research on it. This is what came to me. And what the dream was, flies flying above my head, not real close, but flying above. And it was in front of a mountain and the ocean. And this is what I felt when I saw the dream. I felt like the flies represented releasing dead things. And so for me, that was my dream, is releasing dead things that no longer serve me. And people talk about this all the time. But this dream actually allowed me to, what I realize is, for me, I am a person that I seem to hold on to a lot of stuff, and I realize now as I've been doing this work and going back in my do that, I realize, why. There was a time when I let something go and then I needed it, and then I had to go through hell and high water to get it back or get places, or in that space. So you can be stuck in a space, in a time that you've outgrown. Let me say that again. You can be stuck in a space, in a time that you've outgrown. You can be stuck in a space, in a time that you've outgrown. So for me, that was so freeing. So when I had this dream with these flies, and y'all, I don't know if y'all know me, but my husband and I have skin so soft, and we put it in a spray bottle and we spray bugs and stuff because we just don't do them. And so when I looked it up, it talked about decay, flies as messengers of decay, release, and renewal. And so I knew that I was on the right track when I looked at that, because when flies appear above you and not on you, it means that the old energy is no longer attached. It has already died energetically. You are simply witnessing the last stage of release. Your frequency has risen high enough that the old cannot stay. And so for me, I started thinking about that. And really how it hit me is I'm cleaning my office, going through stuff. For those of you that don't know, I moved about a year ago, a little over a year ago, and I still hadn't gotten through so much stuff because I had so much stuff. Paper on top of paper, because I have one, two, three file cabinets here. There's no reason for me to have that many, but it was because I held on to so much stuff and so much paper, because in my mind, I thought that if I get rid of something that I'm going to need, then it's going to cause me grief, because then I got to go back and try to get it, try to find it. It might be something that long ago that is difficult to get at this time. Maybe it's from years ago and they don't have that stuff on, or it's on microfiche and you got to go through hell and high water to get it. And so that was my mindset. And so I started thinking about that. And I actually did a releasing ceremony for that. I did a release around that. I said, okay, it's time to release some things. And so when I had that dream, it set me free. And so when you think about it, the flies represented the cleanup crew of the energetic world. Because y'all know that flies are around dead things. Think about it. If when they have decomposition happening with bodies, there's maggots. They turn into flies. You see what I'm saying? And so, and then when they in the old days, and they're doing some of that now. They started doing some of that when I was working. They put maggots in wounds, clean it out. And so y'all, I was in nursing for over 30 years. So I think about things like that. And, I thought about with dead things, releasing the old version of me that doesn't fit. So release the old version of you that doesn't fit. And I thought about ancestral patterns that have completed their cycle, because you all know that we live in ancestral patterns. There are so many ancestral archetypes that we live through, that we work through, and that we possess. And so I started thinking about the attachments, because there are attachments to roles that you've outgrown. And for myself, I started thinking about that. There was a role that I was in at one time. I was completely in my masculine. And that's a role that I have outgrown, because I do not have to be in my masculine and my feminine together. Just elevate to my feminine, because there are times when you have to be in the masculine. Sometimes in business, you need to step over into that lane in order to do the strategies and the things that people are telling you to do. But that doesn't mean that you step out of the feminine. That doesn't mean that you step out of the flow. And so when I had this dream, it talked about the oceans, and the ocean represents ancestral history, emotional past. The mountains represent your higher path and your next level identity. And y'all, I have notes over here, um, but this is what came to me, is that I am in a frequency that I haven't experienced in this life. So it is a frequency to me of remembering. It's a frequency of remembering who I am, and also stepping into the role that God has ordained for me. The things that that you've been called to do. And then the deeper energetic message is that I've already outgrown these old energies. They're dead. They are dead and gone, as T.I. and our boys say. They're dead and gone. And the thing that set me free was, I don't need to fight them. I don't need to fix them. I don't need to heal them. I'm telling you, this is something that sets me free. And I knew that it was a good dream, because sometimes you have dreams and you know that it might be a warning, something, that you need to look out for. But for me, I knew that it was completion, because I knew that those flies came to remove the last layers of the dead things in my life. And it is so freeing, y'all. So if you ever have a dream like that, sit down and take time to analyze it. Take time to do a little research around it. Because the thing is, there's always the shedding, because you realize, or your body realizes, that this is no longer mine. So it allows you to stop carrying it. And so I want to make this practical, because I was in here cleaning, working in my office, and that is always a struggle for me, because I don't like to let things go. But I bought a brand new shredder. And so I am shredding. My grandson is here, and he has helped to shed almost, I don't know, about this much paper. And I still have more to go. But that opened the door for me in my mind to release these things, because shedding is healing. It's time to release them and set them free. And the thing of it is it didn't begin to happen for me until I learned how to trust myself deeper, until I began to open the door to receive from spirit, as I began to step all the way into gratitude practices and working on myself and journaling and reprogramming my mind, so that I'm not like my parents. I love them, but I'm not like them. And y'all, I have two sets. Two sets of parents. I guess I'm blessed. But I'm not like them. You know what I mean? I am me. And so many of you are looking at your parents, and you're looking at your lineage, and you're and you're looking at all that stuff and not recognizing and realizing that you are the solitaire. You are the solitaire. You are the gift to your family, whether they realize it or not. You are a gift to this world. And so for me, it was like, a liberation. It's like their system unhooking. Liberation is the nervous system's response to truth. So when you feel liberation in a dream release, it means a survival pattern has dissolved, a generational imprint has unhooked, a role you carried for decades has fallen away. A part of you has stopped negotiating with the old versions of yourself. And my God, if that can't be 1111, if that can't be the truth, old versions, and I think about it now because it doesn't happen in a flash. It happens over time. And just because that's how we accept it, because, time is an illusion. For us, that's how we track things. And so we start looking at the time and we start seeing things as we go and as we grow. And, you know, you start recognizing that you are not the person that you thought you were. You start recognizing that those old identities are gone. I actually had an insurance license. I'm going to be more practical. I had an insurance license, and I was struggling with trying to figure out, trying to do that kind of work and all that. But after a while, I realized that that's just not me, and I did not enjoy it. I tried with a few different companies. I had done it years ago. I tried with a few different companies because I was shifting out of nursing. I burned the hell out of it, just couldn't do it anymore. And then long COVID came and gave me reprieve from it. So that was a dead thing that I had to go to. And so with the insurance, I was like, oh, I'm gonna try that. And everybody kept saying, well, you can do it and this and that. You have an outgoing personality, but that's bullshit. Because I am an introvert. I've always been an introvert, but I've taught myself to extrovert when necessary. So I can do it, but it's not something that I truly enjoy. So um, I just had to let stuff go. And so I let that thing go. I thought about it for a while because I've had it for years. My husband and I both had it, and we thought, well, we can have it, and then when we retire, we can work that together and blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? He didn't want to do it, and neither did I. And we came true to ourselves, and we released it and let it go. We released it because for years, I didn't work it, but I held on to it. So I was paying for it for years and didn't do much with it. And I decided that no, it's time. It's time to release that. That is an old identity that has to go. Because what I decided was that I am in devotion to fun, freedom, faith, and intuition. So if it doesn't fall into any of those categories, then I'm not going to do it. And if it's not fun, I don't want to do it anyway. Because I feel like I have worked, like a mule all these years. I worked two, three, four jobs in my 20s, my 30s, and most of my 40s. And I'm done. I can't do it another day. You know what I mean? It's not fun to me. I did not enjoy probably the last maybe 15 years or so. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't. I just, it was a job. It wasn't an adventure. And I'm looking for adventure because that's who I am. So, when you start thinking about that and you realize that it's a new level of intuitive clarity that has come. It's a new level of self permission. And y'all know I have permission revoked my workshop that I do monthly, and I'm inviting you to that. I will definitely, well, I was going to say I'll drop the link in the comments, but I will put a post on my workshop that I do monthly. I'm also doing a workshop on Imagine the Art of Receiving to teach you how to receive and the importance of it. In these workshops, I do some magic. It's not me sitting here on talking head like what I'm doing now. I want you to make sure that you are able to show up, come and join us. It's amazing. I have also some integration practices. So So, number one is to speak to money as energy. You're welcome here. You flow easily through my life. Whatever you feel like you want to say. The second one is notice the ease. So, every time something arrives without effort, affirm this is my new normal. This is my new normal. So, for me, something just showed up for me. And it was so exciting because it was something that I desired, but I wasn't sure if it was going to happen. And I wasn't sure when it was going to happen. I knew that it was going to happen, but I wasn't sure when. So when it showed up and I didn't even have to think about it, I thought, wow, this is awesome. This is my new normal. Rest when inspired, that is number three. Rest when inspired. So rest is now a part of your abundance practice. It signals trust. And then number four is offer gratitude before receiving, because gratitude magnetizes flow before the form appears. It's like having faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Same. So I think about that this because that is something that I've been doing. I've been honoring my body with rest. When I feel like resting, I rest. When it's time for me, there are whole days, and I think I've had even whole weeks where all I did was rest. And the old identity of me would have felt bad for that. But the new identity, no ma'am, no sir. I don't feel bad for it. Because if my body requires rest, I rest. And it does signal the trust that I've been looking for. Because the truth is, we don't typically trust ourselves enough. We don't trust our intuition. We just continue to be out here just floating around and, carrying on and doing the things. So I have an abundance integration ritual that I'm going to share with you today. So might want to write this down or, do screen record it, whatever you do. But say this out loud or you can journal it. I am the ocean of abundance itself. Money flows to me as naturally as breath. I release all striving and receive with ease. Every resource I need rises to meet me. And I don't know about you, but even just now when I said that, I let the words land in my body. Especially, I am the ocean of abundance itself. Oh my God. Do you feel that? And then in the morning, place your hand over your heart and visualize the ocean waves breathing with you. So when you inhale, you receive. And when you exhale, you're releasing dead things. Feel the flies lifting away, old scarcity patterns dissolving. And then in the midday, when you notice ease or synchronicity, whisper, this is abundance remembering. Oh my God. And then in the evening, write down one moment where you felt supported without effort, because that's your proof of flow, your mountain rising. I hope you guys have enjoyed this today. Thank you so much for watching. Um, yeah, this has just been a moment for me, and I wanted to share it with all of you. So again, thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I hope your day is magical and that you check out my workshops, because I have one coming up. I think it's Imagine the Art of Receiving, and it is really to help you learn how to receive, because most people in the world don't know how to. Some people do, but most people and a lot of people that I've encountered don't know how to do it. So God has placed it on my heart to share this with all of you. So come and join the workshop. It's an hour and a half. I think it is on the 14th at 12 noon to 1:30. So come and join. I will put a post up sharing the link. That way you'll have it. And, grab some other people and bring them. Yeah, because it's $35. Grab some other people and let's do this thing. because you can be whoever it is that you desire to be. And I'm going to share with you one piece at a time so that you can do this. Because I don't want to overwhelm people because I get overwhelmed easily with a lot of stuff. So I try to break it down as I would like someone to do. So again, thank you so much for hanging out with me. And I hope you have a wonderful day.